Hello, I'm Todd Thomas, pastor of Timberville Church of the Nazarene, and I appreciate you tuning in to this message of basic Christianity. Today we're going to talk about God. Does God exist? And if so, why? If he exists, how can we know? If God does not exist, then the question why doesn't go away. It now applies to many other things: existence, purpose, love, life, and beauty. You see, this question about the existence of God is pivotal to all of life. If there is a God, particularly the God of the Bible, then the implications are immense. If God does not exist, or if God is simply the result of man's imaginations, then once again, the implications are immense. There are two primary objections to the existence of God. One goes something like this: if naturalism or evolution is a sufficient explanation for the existence of the universe, then God becomes redundant or unnecessary. That's one objection. The second objection goes something like this: if a good and powerful God exists, then why is there so much suffering and evil in the world? If God exists and is good, then he must not be powerful, or he would put an end to evil and suffering. If God exists and is powerful, he must not be good, or he would put an end to evil and suffering. Well, today we're going to examine the first objection, next week the second objection. And in looking at that first objection, we're going to have some compelling responses that will stimulate our thinking and give us good conversation point with other individuals. I find it interesting that the Bible presents no argument for the existence of God, no proof for his existence. God is not explained. He is not defended. The Bible simply presupposes the existence of God. He is just presented as a known reality. I find it interesting that since the Bible is God-breathed, according to 2 Timothy 3:16, that he didn't breathe out something, hey, allow me to introduce myself. I'm God. Or I know that, or maybe he'd say something like, I know my existence is going to be fiercely debated, so let me give you 4 indisputable proofs that I'm real. But seriously, couldn't he have done that? But then again, had he done that, would it make any difference? There are no inarguable proofs for the existence of God, and there are no inarguable proofs for his non-existence. To think that a finite mind, however intelligent, could prove or disprove the existence of a finite being, of an infinite being, I think is kind of the height of arrogance. Now, while proofs do not exist, I think there are some compelling and powerful clues, and we're going to walk through a few of those today. The Bible begins with some powerful words. In the beginning, God created. God is introduced to us as the creator. And this is a theme that holds consistent throughout the Bible. Let me give you a few references. You alone are the Lord. You made the heavens, even the highest heavens, and all their starry host, the earth and all that is on it, the seas and all that is in them. You give life to everything, and the multitudes of heaven worship you. This is the prophet Nehemiah 9:6. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, their starry host by the breath of his mouth. Psalm 33:6. For this is what the Lord says: He who created the heavens, he is God. He who fashioned and made the earth and founded it. He did not create it to be empty, but formed it to be inhabited. He says, I am the Lord, and there is no other. Isaiah 45:18. Has not my hand made all these things so that they came into being, declares the Lord? Isaiah 66:2. God made the earth by his power. He founded the world by his wisdom and stretched out the heavens by his understanding. Jeremiah 10:12. Ephesians 3:9 and Colossians 1:16 both declare for us that God is the creator, sustainer of all things. Revelation 4:11 describes a scene around the throne, a scene of constant and continual exaltation and worship. And in that worship, God is declared as worthy to receive all honor, power, and glory because he is the creator. Psalm 19:1, which says the heavens declare the glory of God, and then Romans 1:20 that tells us that creation bears witness to God and his power. These two combine together to help us understand that creation gives powerful testimony to God as the creator. But now, how does creation communicate to us or give testimony to us for the existence of God? Well, let's walk through that. The fact that there is anything, the fact that there is existence, I think is a clue that God is for real. Existence only has two possible explanations. The fact that there is anything at all has only two possible explanations. One of them is from the naturalists or the evolutionist perspective, and they tell us that we would have to believe that matter is eternal, that there's always been something. They have to say that because if there was ever a time anywhere in past history where there was nothing, that's all there would still be, is nothing. So evolution or naturalism wants us to believe that there's always been matter of some kind, and that at some point that infinitesimally small and incredibly hot, dense piece of matter exploded and started the whole process that evolution describes for us. And that's one option for existence. The second option for existence is that the God of the Bible is the first cause, the sufficient first cause. Now, neither of these explanations can be proven. In spite of what science wants to tell us about evolution or naturalism, they can't prove it. They say it happened billions of years ago, so obviously there's no empirical data. There's no way to test it, to test the theory, any of that. It can't be proven. Neither can it be proven that God created. Nobody was there to bear witness to that. It just simply, neither of these can be proven. Whichever one you choose to believe, that's what you have to do. You have to believe it. You have to just accept the explanation by faith. Hebrews 11:3 brings us to that point. Said, by faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that which is seen was not made out of that which is visible. Now, I choose to exercise my faith, to believe that God is the sufficient first cause, that the existence of God is a more reasonable explanation for the existence of everything. And there are reasons I would believe that. Let's walk through some of those. That is what we call things in the universe that are constant. And by constant, we mean those things that have been, that are, and will be, and just have remained the same as long as we've been able to observe these things. Robin Collins, distinguished professor of philosophy at Messiah University in Pennsylvania, had this to say about that. When you look from the perspective of a scientist at the universe, it looks as if it knew we were coming. There are 15 constants. The gravitational constant, various constants about the strong and weak nuclear forces, etc., that have precise values. If any one of these constants was off by 1 part in a million, or in some cases 1 part in a million, the universe could not have actually come to the point where we see it. Matter would not have been able to coalesce. There would have been no galaxies, stars, planets, or people. So the constants that are in the universe, the things that have and always have, are, always will be, those things bear witness to me of God as the first cause. The laws of nature, which give us a universe where certain things have always been and now are and always will be, are predictable. Or predictable is another thing to consider. For example, the law of gravity. No matter where you go in the historical timeline or what geographical location you choose to make this test, When you drop a rock, it will fall. It will fall at a particular rate of acceleration. It will reach a particular terminal velocity, no matter how long the fall. It doesn't get faster and faster. It reaches a terminal velocity, and that's it. And the weight of the rock doesn't matter. It can be a 1 ounce piece of gravel from your driveway. It can be a 60-pound rock from some construction site. And you drop them, and they will fall at the same rate of acceleration and reach the same terminal velocity. And this is predictable. This is known. This is measurable. This is one of those laws of nature. Another one is the boiling point of water, which is 212 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level. Now, yes, that changes. For every 500 feet of elevation above sea level, the boiling point of water changes at a known rate. It also is affected by barometric pressure. When barometric pressure goes up or down, the boiling point of water changes by a known rate. And these are known and can be factored. These are laws of nature that do not change. Now, there are a vast number of such precise and known factors throughout our universe. And this is a great challenge to evolution. Think of it like this. Evolution, by its very nature, is a process of changing. That across billions of years, things changed, slowly changed, until we come to where we are now. Now, what communicated to the evolutionary process that we are where we need to be? That the constants of the universe are what they should be, that the laws of nature in the universe are what they should be. So evolution needs to stop right here, right now. We finally have all the dials set right where they need to be for life to exist. So stop right here. That makes no sense to me. I think there's a better explanation that there is a designer, a creator, who set these constants in place, who established these natural laws, and did so the universe will operate as it does for the support of life. Well, how about this? The existence of beauty, love, purpose. Naturalism and evolution would have us believe that we are hardwired to see beauty because it is a survival instinct, that our ancient ancestors realized that places of beauty were often also places of supply. So when our ancient ancestors would look across the lush valley with a good water supply, it wasn't beauty that moved them. It was the reality there's probably good food there. And so let's go so we can survive. Survival being the big deal. Evolution and naturalism would have us believe that love is simply a biochemical response to particular stimuli, and it too is driven by survival and by the continuation of some genetic line. Same can be said about purpose. Having purpose in your life is just another survival mechanism that enabled our ancient ancestors to survive and still has some influence upon our thinking. We're just hardwired for these things. Evolution wants us to believe this. Evolution wants us to believe that even religion, man's compulsion to worship something greater than himself, is hardwired into us as a survival instinct. That our ancient ancestors engaged in some kind of religion, some kind of worship, because it enhanced their ability to survive and pass on their genetic code. Wow. You see, survival is the ultimate goal. It's the greatest accomplishment. And it has to be achieved no matter the cost. Now what they don't talk too much about is that in the evolutionary process, it was perfectly okay for the strong to suppress the weak, for the strong to even eliminate the weak, as the weak degraded the possibility of survival. The strong survived. Wow, what an explanation for beauty, love, purpose. Even as I am giving that to you, deep in you, whether you're a believer in Christ or not, deep in you, you're just going, I know better. That just doesn't, that's just not right. All of us have experienced natural beauty and being moved by that beauty. We sing about it. We write poetry about it. We create art to express it. We celebrate beauty in these ways. Beauty creates a desire within us for a life that is without pain, a life that is without trouble, a life that is without sorrow. Beauty invites us to the possibilities of something better, something grander. It's not just hardwired. It's metaphysical. It does something to us in a very special kind of way. Love is so much more than hardwired biochemical response to perceived stimuli. Love is not necessary for survival, but love is necessary for thriving. We cannot be whole without loving and being loved. Love draws us beyond ourselves. Love moves us to give of ourselves. Love moves us to sacrifice. It's not love that makes life possible. It is love that makes life good. Love sometimes even compels us to give our life for that which we love. Kind of the opposite, right, of what evolution says is this hardwired biochemical response for survival. Purpose makes life meaningful. Now, you don't have to have purpose to be alive, but purpose makes your life mean something. Purpose gives us cause. There's nothing quite so satisfying as being able to say, this is why I am alive. I was a third grade boy when God called me to preach. It was a very simple thing. I was sitting in a chapel at the end of a service, and I just felt in my spirit, heard in my spirit, I want you to preach the gospel. And as a kid, I just like, okay. And it gave me an anchor, a particular anchor that held me. It was my purpose. This is why I'm alive. Beauty, love, purpose, these things combine to tell us that life is not simply a tale told by a fool, full of sound and fury, but without any meaning. Beauty, love, and purpose tell us that there is something more than physical existence. It fills us with a desire for that something more, and it compels us to search for the significance in that something more. So we have the things that are constant in the universe, the laws of nature, the existence of beauty, love, and purpose. We also have this sense of moral obligation. Let me make a few statements. You'll agree with them. People should not be marginalized. Women should not be mistreated. Children must not be abused. It is wrong to trample on the rights of other people. And the list could go on. People of a sound mind the world over have a sense of what is right and wrong, have a sense of what is good and evil. There is incredible consistency of this perspective, no matter the culture. There are certain things that are always considered wrong and evil, and certain things that are always considered right and good, no matter where you are in the world. Why? Well, it certainly cannot be the influence of evolution. For evolution's highest goal is survival of the fittest. The strong dominate, the strong even eliminate the weak. Violence is often the tool of survival. There's no sense of moral obligation. There is simply that must be done to survive. Moral obligation moves us to do things that are often costly to us and contrary to this survival instinct. Running into a burning building to save an elderly resident. Jumping into the water to save a drowning child. Doing other things that obligate us to give time, to give money, sometimes even to give our life to benefit others. And individuals who live by moral obligation are often held up as examples, as heroes. And again, I would ask the question, why? And who is it that says certain things are right and good and that other things are wrong and evil? What is this source of universal conscience? Without God, there is no good answer to these questions. There is no ultimate reason for being good or kind or loving or altruistic. Without God, there's not an objective standard by which each person's values or actions can be judged as right or wrong, good or evil. If we believe in right and wrong and good and evil, and that humans have inherent dignity, that human rights actually exist, it makes much more sense that God exists than that he does not. Timothy Keller, in his book, The Reason for God, says this: "We all live as if it is better to seek peace instead of war, to tell the truth instead of lying, to care and nurture rather than destroy. We believe that these choices are not pointless, that it matters which way we choose to live. Yet if the cosmic bench is truly empty," that's a phrase he uses to indicate there is no God. "If the cosmic bench is really empty, then who says that one choice is better than the other? Whether we are loving or cruel in the end would make no difference at all." So existence, universal constants, and precision and laws, beauty, love, and purpose, a sense of moral obligation, none of these offers proof for the existence of God. But yet I think they are compelling and powerful clues. And I believe that the existence of God offers a far more reasonable explanation for these things than anything naturalism or evolution has to offer. Now, next week, we're going to look at this second objection, that the problem of evil and the existence of God. And as we look at that, we will once again look at some powerful and thought-provoking clues and responses to that objection. I thank you for listening today, and may the Lord honor his word and truth into your hearts. Thank you.